Hello, my name is Georgius Rama. I am a student of electrical engineering at Universitas Multimedia Nusantara. For this oral video test, I will be talking about the four parts that have been mentioned previously in the exam sheet. So, let's get to the first part. Part 1. Questions. Number 1. What useful skills have you learned in your life? Please elaborate on them. Number two, think of solutions for the following situation. People often feel stressed at work and become unproductive. Okay, so I'm going to answer number one first. Throughout my life, I have faced various situations that led me to learn various sets of skills that I have until now. I've gone biking, riding, cooking, camping, reading, fixing, and all sorts of stuff. But the skills that I think are beneficial for me right now are critical thinking and time management. Critical thinking is something that I learn from time to time. I didn't just develop it in one go, and I could and would practice it on various occasions, such as creating a practical report, learning new things, and teaching my friends. It is very useful to do various tasks that requires a good critical assessment of the situation. And there is also time management, where it's one of the most important skills that I need to have. It is also a skill that I gain from time to time. I would and always would practice it. Time management itself is an act where I plan out what I'm going to do and not do for the moment and the next. It is quite beneficial for balancing work and life. Number two, I think one of the solutions for reducing stress at work is time management. There could be a certain time in the day when people could just stop working and go to sleep, because sleeping helps reduce the stress that's accumulated throughout the day. It's not only releases stress, but it also refreshes the mind so work can be done more efficiently. The second one, the second solution is to have a certain time in the day to just stop working and do another activity. I promote both of these solutions because they vary on what kind of stress you need to relieve. So you could be more versatile. And that's part one. Now let's go to part two. Part two, describing photo. Here is the photo that I have chosen, and I'm going to describe it now. This is a photo of a couple of friends who graduated. I don't know whether they graduated from high school or college. I think people would wear this outfit when they graduated from college. It makes me wonder if in the future I will have a moment like this where I gathered with all of my friends and took a group photo after we graduated. I do hope that when we do this, we will all graduate at the same time. Though, if not, I would hope that it's because me or them having a student exchange abroad. And that's part two. Let's go to part three. Part three, answering some questions again. This is the card picture that I've chosen. It is how easy might it be to interest teenagers in these topics. Now, I'm going to read them and then answer them one by one. Number one, saving water and electricity. It won't be too hard. You just need to know what to promote to teenagers these days. Maybe we could promote saving water and electricity by promoting it in a game that they play or in a film and videos that they watch. Number two, using bikes instead of cars. I think this is a bit challenging because it depends on the environment that they live in. Sometimes using a bike is much more efficient because it costs less money to maintain it. But on some other occasion, Using a car is much safer and much more efficient in the long run. Next is number three, protecting threatened animals. I think by now teenagers already know that they should not harm animals, especially protected ones. It is not hard to make them help the animals for a short time, but to make them want to protect threatened animals need to have an interest in themselves. This is not what every teenager wants, but most of them already have a sense of care towards animals. So I don't think it's really that hard, but it is quite challenging. Number four, buying things secondhand. For this one, I would say it's not hard, but not easy at the same time because it depends on how the teenagers are raised by their parents. Some people are raised spoiled, and it would be really hard to promote buying things secondhand. But some people are also raised to become frugal, and that's where it becomes super easy because they could have already thought of the idea before we mention it to them. Last part, number five. Number five, recycling glass, paper, and plastic. This could be hard for in some places because the act of recycling only works if it is done by a large group of people. So society in one place must be doing it as well so that it becomes a norm in that society that people must follow. But in some places, some people never thought about not littering or maybe trying not to litter. In those places, it is really hard, especially if the kids see that kind of behavior. Finally, all of these topics are best if it is introduced by their parents, and because they will be the first people that teenagers see. Well, of course, it's their parents. Though some people may not be so fortunate. So these ideas are best for people who take care of them from a young age or even people they saw every day, even from us. And that's number three. Let's go to the last part. Part four, questions. The question that I have chosen is number four. How would your life be different if you had been born in a different country? I think it would be very, very different. Starting from the beginning, I would have a different race, a different parent, a different accent, a different lifestyle, a different hobby, a different education, different friends, a different environment, society, and so on. I could even be called not me. But if I was born in another country by my original parents and then grew up in my original country, then that will also be different, but not as significant as before. Well, I think the big difference is that I have a different childhood, but if I had grown up in the original country, in my original country, then I think I would be similar to who I am today. But I also think that if I was born in the same country as I am today, but with a small and slight changes throughout my life, I could have been a very different person as I am today, because life is constantly changing and no one really knows if something that they do will create a certain outcome. It's just that when they do something, most of the time it generates the same thing. And I think I could be born in a very different place from here, like a very far, far place, and still be a similar person like who I am today. So it is quite interesting to think about it. It is fascinating as well as having experienced life. And that concludes my oral exam. I hope my vocabulary has increased and that my intonations, and articulations have gone better as well. Thank you for listening. Have a good day.